And we are live. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Watch All My Reviews. This is your boy James. Where today I'm here to give you my honest review while trying to watch my mouth. And it's not gonna happen this little YouTube live video, but that's okay. We'll live to fight another day. Joining me is my co-host, Mrs. Best. I'll say what's up to her.
What's poppin', y'all? Happy Friday. I can't see. I should put on my glasses again, but they made my hair hurt. Happy Friday. Like the video, subscribe. I'm happy to be here. I love House of Villains, so I'm happy he's covering it. That's all.
Yes, y'all. She got me to do it. And I must say, for now, I'm not disappointed. For now. You guys, please subscribe to Keywan J's channel. We'll be live. Well, we won't be live, but we will be in her live. And we encourage all of you to go to her live as well. This is her channel description. It is in my description box. She's going to be going over the Married to Medicine look. So we will get her and also her cousin's opinion on everyone's look. Please also subscribe to our girl Shana _MCD. She was one of the very first YouTubers to ever embrace me. We love Shana here on the Watch On My Reviews channel. So we want to make sure she gets love as well. Y'all. Now that I got my pleasantries out the way, we're going to talk about this episode. So the episode picks up where it left off, which it took to episode 3 for our very first elimination. So our very first elimination was one other than Jackie Christie. So it was 5 votes to Christine and 3 votes for Jackie. So Christine wanted to know who was the third person that voted for Jackie and not her when, after Jackie got eliminated. So they're all talking about it. So she sits down with Johnny, Ashley, and she's talking to him and like, I want to know who the other person is, like who would not vote for me? And they was like, well, who do you think it is? I mean, New York and Drita didn't vote for you. They voted for Jackie to stay. She goes, yeah, I know that. But the third person, I don't know who that could be. And Johnny kind of plans to see, it could be anybody. It could have been me, and kind of put it in there. And so Kate was kind of taking in notes and looking at Johnny weird with the side eye because nobody knows at this point who voted for Jackie. So we then see the whole alliance gate, which is Johnny, Paul, Ashley, and Tyson. They're talking about who this person could be. Now, Paul, with his slick ass, said that it's going to be great working with these people because they don't know that I was the person who actually voted against Christine and put Jackie up, but I'm not going to say that. And Johnny says, you know who I think it was? I think it was Tom. Because Jackie did tell me in a previous conversation that Tom shook her hand and everything. So maybe Tom was the person who, didn't vote for Christine. Now, for those of y'all who are actually watching, regardless of Paul voting for Jackie or not, it wouldn't have made a fucking difference because it was 5-3. The odds would have been in her favor, regardless if Paul voted for her or not. So I don't understand why they are trying to, cut up these loose ends, but I get it. They have an alliance. And when you have an alliance, the stakes are high. But Johnny feels a way about Tom Sandoval. He's like, listen, I'm not feeling Tom at all. I can't trust him. I don't know how I'm going to be able to move because he is in my alliance, but I'm going to have to watch him. So, Mrs. Best, before I move on, I wanted to ask you, were you surprised that Jackie Christie went home?
No, I didn't think Jackie would last when I saw that she would be on the cast. Jackie's good at screaming a bunch of nothing, but she's not good at strategy. So I kind of expected her to not make it on a show like this or a show like Traitors. Still love Jackie, but I'm not surprised.
Mm-hmm. So we have an alliance formed, and it is Johnny, Paul, Ashley, Tom, and Tyson. These are the 5 people that are in an alliance to keep each other to the end. And their goal is to eliminate Tiffany and Kate right away. So I'm going to ask you this preemptive question now, Mrs. Best. Do you think that this alliance will last longer than episode 5?
Whose alliance?
So I named the people Johnny, Paul, Ashley, Tyson, and Tom are in an alliance. The 5 of them are in an alliance together, and their objective is to immediately get Kate out the house and also New York. But I'm asking you, do you think that the five of them have a solidarity and will last past episode 5 before we get into
I think Paul, Ashley, and Johnny will understand it. They all come from competition reality TV.
it?
So they understand the importance of alliances, especially Ashley and Johnny. More so Ashley, though. I mean, she's a challenge vet and she thrives. What is her alliance called? Is it the Lavender Ladies or something? Her alliance is called. But she Ashley thrives on alliances on all of her shows. So it doesn't surprise me. Do I think that their alliance will stay as together and as big as it is? No. But I do think that Paul, Ashley, who else is in it?
Johnny, Tom, and Tyson.
I think Paul, Ashley, and Tyson will stick to the alliance. I don't think the rest of them, I think the rest of them are too wishy-washy.
Gotcha. Okay. So then we move on. So now we get their next challenge. So the next challenge is this tea party. And we have a previous member from season 2, Miss Victoria Lawson, joining us. She was on season 2. She was very annoying on her season. She was asking all of the wrong questions, antagonizing people. She was a lot. So the premise of this game is everybody's going to be blindfolded. Victoria is going to walk around and tap a person and give them a teacup. The person with the teacup has to then go to the rest of the cast members, place the teacup as they are still blindfolded, sit back down, put the blindfold back on, and whoever gets the teacup has to guess which person put it on their table. So as we are commiserating, getting everybody there, nobody is really guessing who is putting the teacup on their table. The only person who is successfully getting it right is Tom Sandoval. So Tom is getting everybody who is picking on him out. So it comes down to the final 3, which are the alliance members. We have Johnny, we have Tyson, and we have Tom as the remaining 3 people. So Tom wants to eliminate himself because he's not ready to be the supervillain yet to have the control and power. So he gives Tyson the teacup, and the teacup, when Tyson gets it, he automatically knew it was Tom because he doesn't think Johnny is suspicious enough to give it to him. So they eliminate Tom, and then Joel gives them the ultimatum of, okay, so one of you for the supervillain has to decide who's going to take the teacup and who's going to eliminate themselves. So Tyson says, I want to eliminate myself. I don't think I should do it. Johnny was very apprehensive. He didn't want to be the supervillain this time as well, but he figures since they are in an alliance together, we'll just go ahead and just have Tyson eliminate himself. So Johnny is the winner. So as it is announced that Johnny is the winner, he has to do what the rules are, which is nominate 3 people up for banishment. But as he's looking around, him and New York kind of had like a little scuffle because when New York got eliminated from the challenge, he told New York, go to hell. She wasn't thinking he was joking. She thought he was being serious. So she said, fuck you. And so when he looked her general direction, she said, why are you looking at me? Turn your ass around, look over there. He goes, you don't want to start out like this, New York. This is stupid on your part. She goes, I don't give a fuck now. So I said, damn, New York, sometimes you can hide your emotions a little bit, but I don't know why New York would have taken it to heart that Johnny was being like messy or being serious. I wouldn't think he was being serious at all. I would think he was being messy because Joel was telling everybody who got eliminated to go to hell. So I just thought he was just piggybacking off of that, but he didn't do that to anybody else, at least not that they showed. He only did it to New York. So it made me look at him a certain way. I'm like, okay, so why didn't you do it when Christine got banished? Why you didn't do it when Ashley got banished? Why you didn't do it when Drita got banished? Drita was sitting right next to your ass. So why did you only do it when New York happened to have gotten eliminated? That was kind of interesting to me. I don't know. I could be picking up more than I'm putting down, but it just seemed weird that he would do that to only New York. So Mrs. Best, based on what I described, how do you feel about Johnny winning the challenge? Were you surprised at him winning? And second, do you think that there may be some banter between him and New York that I'm picking up on, or do you think maybe it's just reality TV fodder and they have to make the show interesting?
I don't take anything New York does on this show seriously. The last thing I took seriously from New York was her calling Omarosa a cum guzzling Republican, whatever she said. But I think New York is here to do a job. She's going to get paid regardless. That's what I'll say. So I don't think she's playing into her personality that made her famous is more so what it gave. But New York is just here to make us laugh. Let's just call a spade a spade. You here the third time in a row, lady. You just here to make us laugh. They need to let her host the show and also live in the house somehow and incorporate that into the game. That would be fun. But
yes,
I also think she just may not like Johnny.
Yeah, so DM Ross said, hey, get ready for next episode because something happens that changes the whole game. Oh, I know what happened. And I'm actually excited for it. I really am. I'm highly excited for it because that's what a certain someone gets. That's what that certain someone gets. I'm happy that it happened that way because it's funny to me. So, since Johnny won the competition, he also has to choose people to go on the reward with him. So he chooses Drita and he chooses Tom Sandoval. So it is, after it's been decided it's been those two, everyone's kind of, going around. He's happy that he won it. And and then him, Johnny, Ashley, and Tom are in the kitchen, and Tyson, I believe, was there. They were like, who should we put up? And he goes, I really want to know who voted out Christine. And Tom says it was Paul. And he goes, no, I don't think Paul would do that. Now, mind you, it was Paul. But, for shits and giggles, Johnny doesn't trust Tom as much as he trusts Paul. So it's kind of like Paul just did the whole being, inconspicuous because no one ever assumes that it's him. So it's the next day, and Drita, before she leaves for her assignment, she's talking to Plain Jane. And Plain Jane was like, I don't feel good about this. I don't feel good about Johnny having the supervillain title because me and him haven't really connected. And Plain Jane said that I'm typically not somebody that gets along with straight men that are like macho Johnny type. So he feels a little bit like, damn, like, I don't know if I have a chance. So as the next day happens, Tom and Drita and Johnny go on their little escapade. They go to like this paint session, and this paint session has them, drawing and everything like that. They're making a mess. It looked like it was fun. So then they sit down at the table to commiserate. And Johnny says, to be honest, I don't know where I'm leaning against. I don't know where to draw the line in the sand. I don't know what to really do. But I do have to let you know, Tom, I am going to put you up for a nomination for banishment. And that threw Tom completely off guard because they're supposed to be in an alliance with each other. They're not supposed to be, on terms being on the out, because this is the same thing that that Tyson did to Paul. So now Tom is getting in. Tom's like, that's a bad idea. That's a bad idea. But he can't let Drita know that they're in some kind of alliance. But what you have to understand is Drita ain't no damn fool. Drita can clearly see y'all are in an alliance, but Drita is playing along with it and was like, okay, hey, that's what it is. So we then move on to the rest of the house, and the pizza person shows up because I guess, Joel's getting the pizza. And the pizza had a challenge on there. So when they open up the pizza, immediately Christine and Tyson grab the little purple hand that's on the pizza. And Paul is reading the assignment. And basically the assignment says that whoever grabbed the purple hand, they basically are going to help Johnny with the control of who's getting banished from the house. So that's okay. I figured you were. No worries. I got you. So they gave it to Paul, but Paul and Ashley were talking, and she goes, well, wait, because whoever has a purple hand, they are safe from elimination, but they do not have a controlling vote, which puts their alliance in turmoil to save Tom Sandoval, because the only two people that can vote now are Tyson and Ashley. So now they have to rethink the plan. But mind you, Johnny doesn't know what's going on because he's out. So he doesn't know that Paul One is now going to help him eliminate people, but also interrupts their alliance. So at this point, Mrs. Best, I know you're not going to be on camera. Can you hear it? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm sorry, y'all. My camera just start messing up. I think it's StreamYard though, because it's not working on my phone either.
No worries, no worries. So what I was going to ask you directly is, Did you think that Johnny's strategy to put Tom Sandoval up for elimination? Do you think that really would help the dynamic to make it seem like they're not in an alliance together, or do you think that Johnny was screwing over Tom?
I think you're screwing over, like, regardless of who's in the alliance. When you create an alliance and then you go against your alliance so soon and early on in a game, you're
Mm-hmm.
screwing your alliance, no matter which way you look at it, because you're screwing the other people in the alliance who you didn't turn on, because you're potentially making it to where there's one less ally, and then you're screwing the person who you put up as well because they're in your alliance. Like me personally, I was like, why would you even think to put somebody in your alliance up? Now, if this was coming from someone like Tyson or Ashley or Paul, who all come from games that require strategy, Big Brother is about strategy and social game. Challenge requires strategy and alliances with your social game, and Survivor, outwit, outplay, outlast. The outwit and outlast comes in handy. So I would expect like something like that from one of them. And the reason why is because they would probably think of it from the perspective of like, well, Johnny, or not Johnny, but Tom, if we put him up, then nobody will look at us like we're an alliance, which protects the alliance, and we could keep going. But being that this came from Johnny, who struggled with the premise of how an alliance works on the challenge, I don't think he knows what he's doing. I think he's just doing to do, if that makes sense. Like Johnny doesn't seem smart to me, is what I'm trying to say. Sorry.
No, Johnny reminds me of every college and high school football jock that there is, and I'm gonna get more in tune with that in just a minute. You can't trust people like him. You just can't. That's just what it is. So they get back to the house, and Paul tells Johnny that he's going to be his right hand man and help him making decisions. And he also tells Johnny, but this does throw a wrench in our game. So basically, I have this vote with you, but I cannot vote on who gets eliminated. And Johnny's like, oh shit, that messes up our plans. That messes up everything. So before, they go out and commiserate and they talk, Johnny has a conversation with Plain Jane. Plain Jane goes up to Johnny and was all like, here's the thing. I don't really have a great rapport with men like you, because I've always been like the gay boy and I don't have really a big association. And, it's always been tough for me, to have friendships or, relationships with men like you. So, I just ask of you, because this would mean a lot to me if I did stay in the game, that if you keep me here, then I will give you a jury of the peer vote at the end to make sure that you do win. Because it's not really about me winning the game. I mean, I would love to, but I really just want to make it to the end here. So Johnny was like, oh, that's very nice of you. And Johnny takes that into consideration. He goes, no one's ever offered me that. So I do like what's going on. So when Johnny then goes to have this conversation with Paul, Tom Sandoval, he's over there fuming. He's talking to Tyson like, I can't believe Johnny put me up. I can't believe he's going to put me up. Like, I can't deal with this right now. Like, he's going against our alliance. Now I don't trust him in anything. So Tyson said, well, they're talking right now. Why don't you go and, talk with them and let them know how you feel? Now, so Tom Sandoval does that. He goes down there with Paul and Johnny and he goes, look, I really don't want to be on the banishment. I don't think that that's, what we all agree to. But I tell you what, Plain Jane is a big question mark. I think if we threw Plain Jane in, then that will kind of alleviate, this whole sector of me and also have us have the control and votes of who stays and goes. Now, Johnny feels conflicted because he goes, no, I just gave, Plain Jane my word that I won't send him home. Like, this is really conflicting with me. So Johnny's like, well, why don't you let me and Paul talk about it? We'll talk about it. Paul said you would be a fucking fool if you put Plain Jane in against Tom. Tom needs to be in there. He goes, yeah, but I don't want to mess up our alliances though. We can't mess up our alliance. He goes, that's a big fucking mistake if you put Plain Jane up instead of Tom. Like, that's a really big mistake. So we don't know what his decision is at this point. So it then comes down to, and everybody was pretty much kissing Johnny's ass, trying to get him to stay. New Yorker did it. Everyone's kind of doing it. The only person who really has not been kissing Johnny's ass is Kate. Because there's a few things. One, Kate doesn't need the money. That's the first thing. Kate is bigger than the show. I think she just did this just to get her name and continuous out there because I don't believe she's on Below Deck anymore. So I just think that Kate is just doing it just to do it. She doesn't need the money. She doesn't need to be here, but she is intimidating by a lot of the people in here. So Johnny then pulls Christine to the side because he doesn't know what he's going to do. And he goes, since I had the power, and since you had a boyfriend, I might just throw you in there because, I don't like that you had a boyfriend. I thought me and you was going to talk because, you was the only girl I had eyes on. And Christine was like, I'm not trying to have no showmance with him. I'm not trying to do all of that. I am here to win a game. And it's given to me, and Mrs. Best, I'm going to ask you, it's given to me that even though Johnny is cute and he's easy on the eyes and girls would thrust themselves, I don't think he has what Christine wants. I think that Christine likes men of a different stature. At least that's how she comes off to me. How do you feel about Christine and Johnny and her just completely rejecting him every time?
Because just because a man is considered to be attractive doesn't mean a woman's gonna want y'all. That's it. Like
Mm-hmm.
that. It's literally that simple.
Yeah.
Johnny, he does this on every show he goes on. This is not Love Island, Negro. Okay, it's not. And I'm starting to think maybe he wants showmances on every show he goes for because a showmance guarantees you're gonna get camera time.
Yes.
Because I don't even think he'd be attracted to the girls he'd be talking to on all of these shows. If you look at the girls he was talking to on Love Island, to the little girl he played on The Challenge, to the other little girls he'd be talking off on his social media, he don't have a type. I feel like he just be doing this so that he can get camera time or to so that everybody knows he could catch some pussy. That's really how I feel. He just gives
Mm.
toxic jock.
Yeah. My next question is, how did you feel about playing Jane going up to Johnny and pleading the case of, being a gay male in drag and how he doesn't relate to Johnny, but wants to stay to the game, basically begging to stay. How did you feel about that?
I mean, we've watched this happen on House of Villains for 3 seasons. We also watched the same thing on Traitors. This is something that is expected with reality TV. So I don't mind a person begging or stating their claim as the reason why they should stay. I just don't understand how your sexuality has to do with any of it. Like, if you want to stay, just say you want to stay. You know what I mean? What does what you went through as a kid and all of that have to do with, like, today?
I
It doesn't
agree.
equate at all.
I agree because it's giving desperation and using your sexuality as a way to push that forward. Like, you should feel bad for me because there's not a lot of gay representation on TV and shows like this. So you should, feel sorry for me and keep me here. And in return, I'm going to give you this. It's no more than trading ass for a like. That's how I look at it. And I didn't like that Plain Jane did that. I was pissed about it. And I'm going to get into that more when we get to the end of this episode because I felt like Plain Jane, it didn't do what you thought it was going to do. Because men like Johnny don't give a fuck about people like you. He just doesn't. And not to say that Johnny's a horrible person, and I don't mean that in the hardest of context, but for me, it did not matter, and I'm going to explain why in just a moment here. Let me get to the comments. I appreciate Shana you being here, and you guys do what Keywan J says: like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Please do that. We appreciate it. These shows aren't easy to cover, so we appreciate that. So it then comes to the banishment session, and it is very dramatic. This time, Johnny and Paul have to go up and give who are they going to eliminate, but Johnny is going to be spearheading everything. So Johnny puts up New York. And New York, she felt it was coming because she put her foot in her mouth and they had got into it in the challenge. So she wasn't really surprised that she was up there. The next person that he brought up was Kate. And it says that, and he said that he can't really read Kate. He don't know how Kate feels. He feels that Kate was spying. And Kate said, I did not spy on you. I was trying to get my microphone removed so I can go to bed. So whatever you just made up in your head, that is not what's going on. He goes, no, I didn't make that up. She goes, yeah, you did, because I ain't thinking about you. That's basically what she said. She said, I ain't thinking about you. And so now we get to the meat and potatoes. We have our final person. Was it going to be Tom Sandoval or was it going to be Plain Jane? The cameras were panning to them both. And Johnny said, this decision was really hard for me because I did not want to put either one of these two people up. But because I don't have a relationship with this person, that's the reason why I'm going to go ahead and put it up. So I'm going to put Plain Jane up. Plain Jane was so pissed. She called him a Drake lookalike and said that he ain't nothing. She said, "You over there lifting weights, your body is bad. You look like a refrigerator on stilts." I said, "Whoa." I said, "Damn, Plain Jane. Um, that's crazy that you would even say that." But I was hollering because all Johnny could do was like just shake his head. And I said, "No, that's what you get. That's what you get." But before I get Mrs. Best opinion, I got to read Plain Jane for filth right quick. Plain Jane, you have no reason to be mad. You have no reason to be mad because, as he stated and you stated, y'all did not have a rapport. And the premise of the game is y'all have to vote to get each other eliminated. So Johnny has to be popular and has to gain the popular vote in order to win the trajectory of the game. So for you to be mad, I get you did open up with him and was very vulnerable, which you did not have to do. But men like Johnny don't give a fuck when it comes to the straight or straight adjacent, I should say, because I've heard some things about Tom Sandoval allegedly. So they're going to always align with the person that they get along with. They're not going to align with you. He was never going to align with you. He didn't give a fuck about what you promised him because his point is he's going to get that with his alliance. So you were just extra dead weight. I already knew the moment Plain Jane went up to Johnny that was your ticket out of the game, because at the end of the day, nobody was thinking about you. Nobody really was thinking about Plain Jane until Plain Jane made it upon himself or herself or however he identifies. Nobody was going to gun for you. Honestly, I think had Plain Jane not come up to Johnny, Johnny was going to put Christine up. And the reason why he was going to put Christine up is because he couldn't get with her. And it would have been out of spite. So, because he kept alluding to that. So that's why I said, Plain Jane, you did this to yourself. I don't feel sorry for you at all. Because men like Johnny do shit like that. They always align with the other man who is straight and always wants to, be impressionable. Because Tom is the bigger star of the show. Sorry, he is. People would know him because of the scandal more than they would know Johnny or Tyson or Paul, maybe even Ashley. Kate, on the other hand, they probably share the same popularity because they're on a Bravo show together. And we know Kate's name. And then Drita. Drita's also well known as well. So it's going to be one of those situations where it's like, nobody knows Christine like that. So I'm sure he would have gotten rid of her. Mrs. Best, I have to ask you, do you think Plain Jane, when she threw that tantrum up there on that stage, do you think that was warranted?
No, it just wasn't. You're playing a game. At the end of the day, you're going to get put up. I think that when you beg or are desperate for something, it can have an adverse effect. And that's what happened with Plain Jane. I do disagree, though. I don't think, like, after hearing it and looking at some clips, because I did not watch the whole episode. So I just watched bullet points of what James told me to watch. But Johnny exudes toxic masculinity, but I don't think that in any way he could align with being homophobic or wanting to put someone up based on gender. I genuinely kind of believe him and think he put Plain Jane up because of everybody on the show. He wants to sleep with Christine. He's not the type of guy that's going to give up. I feel like he's scared of Drita and scared of New York. I don't think he will try Kate. And he can't go against anybody else in his alliance, especially with Ashley, Millionaire Mitchell in there, because she will come for you if you go against her. So I feel like when you look at the cast and what he explained, it does make sense because you don't really know anybody else and haven't interacted as much with people. So Plain Jane is one of those people he doesn't know. Like, aside from that conversation, what have they done together? They're not hanging out. They're not just kicking it. I think Plain Jane, like you said, just messed up their own self. You don't go begging unless you hear your name. If you don't hear your name in the streets, there's no reason to beg. You can't play competition games with paranoia because it might put you in the situation you're trying to avoid. Mm-hmm. But I really just don't think Johnny is that smart. He made some stupid mistakes on the challenge as well as it relates to strategy. He also did some stupid stuff as it related to alliances on there. I just don't think he's smart when it comes to it. And something someone not smart would do is be like, "Oh, I'm gonna just choose you because I don't know much about you, even though you just came and unloaded, your childhood on me." But I don't know. I don't even think Johnny knows why he did what he did.
No, he doesn't. Because here's the thing, and this is why I understand what you're saying. I don't think he's a homophobe. I don't think that at all. But I don't think he's aligned with it either. I think he straddles that fence and just plays middle ground, and probably is cool with whoever's cool with
Well,
him.
what do you mean aligned with it? Because we can't expect nobody straight to align with somebody that's not. Just in terms of the
Well, what I'm
this
saying is,
dominant
I don't
person.
see. What I'm saying is, I don't see him being friends with a plain Jane outside of this show. Is what I'm saying.
You gotta watch him on other shows and follow his social media because he has friends like her. So
Really?
that's why, yes, I also said that to you before the live in one of the messages. I've watched him on a couple different shows with drag people who do what Plain Jane does, just not from RuPaul's Drag Race. Watched him compete on the challenge with some very openly gay castmates that he got cool with and had an alliance with. So I don't think it's that. I think he's toxic when it comes to women and how he moves, but I don't think it has
Mm.
anything to do at all with sexuality. I just think that Johnny is not smart when it comes to reality TV because I've watched him on at least I think 6 different programs throughout the years, and the way he is here is how he is there. And he's usually always in cast because they always pull people from Big Brother and like other shows and stuff. So I don't think it's that. I just think he's not smart when it comes to making a decision. He's not smart when it comes to handling an alliance. He's just not smart.
No, I get that. No, I understand what you're saying. And maybe I am reading him. I'll look more into that because maybe I am reading him wrong, but I'm usually spot on with these things. So I'll look into that a little bit better. Johnny, you
Okay.
got off lucky because I trust my best friend.
I
I
mean,
trust my
I
best
don't think
friend.
sexuality has anything to do
I
with
didn't
this
really, yeah, I didn't really
at
say it was
all.
sexuality. But I just said his plain Jane's type. I didn't say sexuality, plain Jane's
Well,
type.
Plain Jane's type aligns with sexuality because that's the only thing that makes Plain Jane different from
Well,
Johnny or
what I'm
any of
saying
the
is
cast,
plain Jane,
really.
but plain Jane, the reason what I'm saying is plain Jane uses that as a weapon to say he would not get along with me or he wouldn't align with me. But I don't think you necessarily tried. And that's what I'm saying is that's why I said plain Jane's type is kind of using it as a scapegoat to say, okay, he would never be friends with me. Sort of like what Paul did. Paul kind of did the same thing, even though Paul's not gay. Paul kind of did the same thing, but then found common ground with them later on. That's what I'm saying. I feel like what I'm saying about plain Jane's type is kind of using that as a sorrow versus saying, okay, well, this is a competition, this is a game. Let me put that to the side and say,
I know, but I
hey,
thought we were talking about why Johnny put Plain Jane up, not Plain Jane's type. I'm so confused now.
well, because I think we're missing the mark is I'm not saying because he's gay he put him up. I'm saying because he gave him a sob story and used that as a vantage point to say, hey, this is why you should, because he said it. He said in an episode, I usually like it means a lot to me and my community to stay in this game longer. That's what I said. I
Nobody
said,
cares. That's the thing. That's the thing I
yes,
will agree with.
that's what I'm
Because the
saying.
way you
I'm not saying
explained
he's
it,
gay. Yeah.
the way you explained it was Johnny put Plain Jane up because Plain Jane does not
No, 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 no,
align with
no.
that. But because that's what was said at first. But if you meant it to be the other way, that part makes sense. Here's the thing: for every person, gay, straight, or whatever, everybody has a sad fucking story. Your sad
Right.
story is not a reason that you need to be staying on the show. You being on the show, Plain Jane, you should be grateful about because 20 years ago, your community was not showcased on TV unless they were being laughed at
Right.
or made to look like they were something strange. I don't like when people do this. I'm going to say something a little controversial too. I feel like this is a big plight in the LGBTQIA plus community that they put on themselves. Not everybody gives a fuck about your sad story. One, not everybody has the responsibility to make you feel safe in the space that you are for any person. And you
Hmm.
cannot use your sexuality as a way to stay on the show while then also using your sexuality as a weapon against other people on the show. And then Plain Jane also spiraled and all of that. Like as quiet as it's kept, Can we find some other people aside from RuPaul's Drag Race? Because House of Villains finds a person from that show season after season, and they never do well.
Yeah, that's why I said I didn't like that he did that. Now I get he opened up to him, which is where I kind of feel like Johnny, if you really wasn't trying to keep him in the game, you should have just been honest. But the thing about it is where
No,
Johnny
because
fucks.
nobody told Plain Jane to open up to nobody. Because what the fuck does what you went through as a kid have to do with today
No, I
in a
get that.
game? Like
But
Plain
where
Jane sunk. I don't know whether to say his or her. I don't know how it works, and I don't want to be disrespectful, but they sunk their own ship. They
no,
sunk their own
Plain
ship.
Jane definitely sunk the ship. But what I'm saying with Johnny, and this is why I'm mad at Johnny, I say, but Johnny, you did all this controversial shit. Tom already now doesn't trust you
Yeah, it
because
was
you
for
were
nothing.
wanting to. Yeah, it was. So that's why I said this is why I'm saying I'm trying to land it, but we keep kind of going around with this. What I'm trying to say is that it would have been more beneficial to keep Plain Jane as an alliance and say, hey, I can align with you now and bring you in because I'm getting rid of Tom. Because
I
nobody's going to keep
actually,
Tom.
I actually think it was smart to put Plain Jane up because of the statement you just saw. Those of us like obsessive, like my crazy ass with competition reality TV, I'm putting up the person that I think will that can last. Tom, like you said, Tom ain't gonna do well. He's not. He's awkward. He could barely do well with his own cast. So keeping Tom is actually smart because regardless, Tom Sandoval, knowing him, he's not going to be able to flip things unless he wins. And even if he does win, it's like, well, you could tell that most of the people here don't really care for him because of Sandoval. So I think it's smarter to keep Tom because in the long run, if people are left and Tom's one of them, that's a vote that Johnny can beat if he plays the rest of
But
it.
but here's the thing: Tom is in the alliance. You get what I'm
Yes,
saying?
he's in
And
the
that put a
alliance,
target. That
but
put a
it's
target
about
on
him.
Johnny's back.
Oh
Go ahead.
well, oh well. It's Tom Sandoval. I feel like part of the alliance is keeping him. So for knowing Ashley and how Big Brother, Survivor, and the Challenger play, sometimes alliances are made up of people that aren't actually sticking together. Like sometimes they will let, especially Ashley, they will let people into an alliance that they really don't mess with too much like that because you need someone easy to vote off when it comes time for you and your alliance members to vote each other off. So I'm hoping that's what they're doing. But like I said, y'all, Johnny is not smart.
Not at
He
all.
struggles with strategy. He struggles with strategy, but if he had to put somebody up, I do think Plain Jane or Tom would have sufficed because they're both not the most liked. They both don't really know what they're doing and kind of scramble versus thinking, and they're easy to beat. So I get that. But Johnny, I hope you know, baby, you probably won't win this game either.
Well, no, because here's the thing. Now Tom is going to be gunning for you because you gunned for him, and just because you pick Plain Jane over Tom doesn't mean Tom is not going to take that. Because Tom is
Yep.
one of those people who he compartmentalizes his thinking. So when he compartmentalizes his thinking, then
No, he
he's
does
like,
not. Have you not watched Tom Sandoval before?
but in
He's
this game,
doing
he
that.
no, but in
He's
this
doing that
game,
on this show because he's
yes,
scared of
right.
cheating that girlfriend. That's why he wanted to share a space with Tyson. But knowing Tom Sandoval, he'll compartmentalize where probably around everyone else. But watch in the next episode, he probably is going to talk about it or talk to people. He always sinks his own ship too. I kind of feel like Tom and Johnny may be a little similar in their stupidity. What do I
Probably,
say?
probably. I think that's why he felt so slighted by Johnny. Which to me, I would have too. But then
He
in the
should. Your
but
alliance
then but
member
at the end
voted
of the day,
against you or tried to and considered it. I'd be mad too.
yeah. But see, had it been me, but watch this. But the table's gonna turn on Johnny next
Yes.
episode, and I'm happy for it because that's what your ass get.
Let's thank
Because
Johnny for giving a good he's given a good show because like you said, he's so stupid and is not
yes,
thinking and moving appropriately that eventually everyone else will notice. And
oh,
they will get
absolutely,
rid of you. They will.
yeah. Because here's the thing, you think you might be in an alliance, but here's the thing. And I get y'all, they're in TV in real time, so they're not seeing this, but people always let they slip show. I think the only one who's really good at it is Paul. Because Paul is really making y'all think one thing. Paul's a really good liar. I have to give it to Paul. Paul's the most impressive out of everybody here. But I just, for me, that was the wrong move putting him. Just because you felt the way about Tom does not mean you don't know him. So, of course, you're going to feel a way about every move, but that doesn't mean you just jumped the gun. And I think he was spot on with Kate. I would try to get rid of Kate too, because if I can't read you, I'm not going to want you in a competition. So I would have voted Kate off as well. Um, New York is a given because of what she did and started all that shit for no reason. But honestly, if it was my choice, I would have got rid of Christine. I really would have. Just because Christine acts like she's dingy, but she's really not. Christine is playing y'all. And I would get rid of
She's
her.
a
I would get rid of
realtor. She's smart. She's
yes.
definitely playing them.
She's playing y'all. And see, the thing about it is Johnny too distracted. And that's why I said it's really crazy. But I'm just gonna go ahead and put it, on Plain here. Plain Jane did go home. The votes were 5 votes to 1. So only one person voted for Plain Jane, voted against Plain Jane to keep New York, and I think that was Drita, if I'm not mistaken. Drita was the only one that wanted to keep Plain Jane because her and New York apparently next episode are going to get into it. So I can't wait to see it. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead.
Drita, I like about Drita that she always plays with her own mind. No matter what she do, she thinks on her own. I personally am not mad that Plain Jane is gone.
Yeah,
I'm just not.
I'm not, y'all. I'm not gonna wait until the episode next week just because they're doing this way too. Like they taking too long to tell us who's going home, waiting too long. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just say who it was. Plain Jane went home second. I was not mad at it because once again, Plain Jane, you did this to yourself. Had you just shut your ass up and did not say anything, you wouldn't be going home. But and once again, me being a gay person as well, I get that you feel out of the loop with the men. I totally get that. But the only way you're going to really get into a better headspace with that is if you start aligning and start finding common ground with them. You can find common ground with Johnny. You can find common ground with Tyson. You can find common ground with Tom. It's not that hard, job. They're people. I think behind our genders, we have to understand we're human beings. So we can always find a way to relate. We all have to walk on this earth. We all got to put our pants on one leg at a time.
It
all
just
have to do
shows
that.
why it's important, very important for people to make sure that they're confident and have done the work on themselves.
Yes.
Because there's no reason for Plain Jane have went to a man and was like, I'm just surprised I can talk to you. Because I feel like a lot of people in specifically the gay community or what do you call drag? What does that count as? Because some people just do drag and don't even be gay.
Just put it a part of community.
But whatever the hell, people in the community oftentimes, because of the negative experiences they have dealt with in the past and the negative view that some members of society still have, they put that onto other people who have not had the opportunity to do anything to them yet that is offensive. And with some people, especially men, like they're not thinking and don't care that you gay, even if they straight. But I feel like Plain Jane is the type where, like, if you're not speaking to her, acknowledging her, or coming to her the way that a female would, because females, we're more likely to come up to you and start a conversation. Men, gay, straight, or not, they're not usually going to do that. So I feel like Plain Jane needs to have realistic expectations for straight men, and don't be afraid to just communicate with people, because either way, you're going to deal with some ignorant person out there that don't like you because you wear makeup and you a boy. So if you're going to deal with ignorance either way, then just approach people, because you'd be surprised how many men that are straight may not ever want to sleep with a man or agree with what you do, but they're not going to judge you for it. They just like, you do you and they'll do them. So hopefully Plain Jane learns from it, but I felt like Plain Jane wasn't going to do good with the strategy just from the other RuPaul's Drag Race people that have been on here. Like the challenges they do on that show are not like they are on this show. Like they're challenges that they're already, for the most part, things that they're already good at, familiar with, or have done to get in the drag. Whereas this includes challenges that they've never done. But it seemed like Candy from RuPaul's Drag Race, I think that was last season, she struggled on this show. Like they need to put more than just one person from a show like that onto this cast, if you get what I'm saying. Like, help them feel included by including more than just one of them. It's kind of like having the token Black person or the token Asian person on the show, like we used to see in the early 2000s. Like, I don't like that TV networks do this, and I may be getting too deep, but stop just adding one Black person, one gay person, won this person. Like, stop trying to show us you're checking the box and just cast a couple different people and see what happened. But
Right. And here's the thing, and y'all, I didn't mind that Plain Jane was on the show. Don't get us wrong. We're not saying that, but the problem is once again, when someone is not emotionally intelligent enough to realistically understand that everyone has a struggle, everyone has a story, that doesn't mean you then go to that person who you want to understand you and then use it as a guideline to make sure you stay on a TV show. That's not, I just didn't like that. I felt like it's one thing to have a conversation and try to relate to the person, fine, but that's not what it was. It was, if, hey, I usually don't get along with men like you because you all like, I grew up thinking that that men like you didn't see it for my kind. But hey, if you keep me in this game because I really want to be here, I'll make sure you get this. It's kind of like, okay, well, he's already in an alliance, and it's
you
all you're
should be
doing.
being social and finding and creating your own alliance
Yes.
instead of being so excited to make friends with a handsome straight man. I'm like, do you want Johnny Plain Jane? Is that what it is? Because that's what it gave to me. Because all of it was weird.
Well, it is weird because it was like, I don't know if that's what was going on. I mean, I wouldn't blame him. He's, like I said, he's my type, so I would do it too. But my thing is this: when it comes to money, that kind of goes out the window.
Mm.
So when it comes to me competing, me being attracted to Johnny, that goes out of the window. I ain't attracted to nobody here. I'm trying to win. So I feel
Right.
like for me, I would have a different approach to it. It would be like, the hell with all the Johnnies, the Toms, the New Yorks, and the Tysons, and all of y'all. I'm trying to win. And the thing about it is, y'all have to do what Tanisha and Safari did. Y'all got to stay under the radar on these games. Let these motherfuckers sink their own ship. If you know who actually taught me that, you remember Big Brother when Tamar and Candy was on there. Y'all see how Tamar stopped on them tantrums and started being quiet
Mm-hmm.
and let them other motherfuckers sink their own ship like they did. That's what you have to do in these kind of games. These people are outspoken personality people. So I think now that I'm looking at it more, I think it's going to be out of Kate or Christine, because Kate is literally skating by. That's scaring people. And she gonna change the whole trajectory of this game next episode, and I cannot wait.
I
I
actually
cannot
have
wait.
high hopes for Kate or
I
Christine as well. I think one of
hmm
them would take it just because not only that, they're both very smart. Kate worked in a field and was on Bravo television, which builds like hulks. So she's okay. As for Christine, I watched Selling Sunset. Christine ain't nothing to play with. Okay. And realtors are very smart people because they have to adjust. They have to be chameleons. They have to make you feel like you're getting the best deal of your life when you're not 9 times out of 10. So I'm, and she's smart to not deal with Johnny. Jesus.
Johnny can't afford Christine. That's the problem.
Mm-mm.
That's the real issue. If Johnny, if you want to answer, you can't afford Christine.
He didn't even make it far enough in the challenge to even qualify for the $2,500. Like, he ain't got it.
I'm not saying he broke or anything. Like, y'all, please don't be like, now you saying Johnny broke. No, I'm not saying Johnny's broke. Christine is used to a certain amount of income that he, no matter how many reality TV shows or endorsement deals, because I see him on IG, I see him. No matter how many things he gets, Christine gonna outbid him every time, or get a man that's gonna outbid him. That's why she's not interested. She's A lot of California women are like this. I'm sorry, they just are. And you got to come a lot stronger, Johnny. You cute and all, but you got to come a lot stronger than that.
Okay, because the rent on a studio is over $2,000. So if you want to date a woman in California, do not come at them with the bullshit. I always say, God forbid, if I end up alone or single, I would just stay single, because unless you can make enough money to pay this rent, and this rent is a lot, I don't want you. And they love to live with their mamas out here. Just saying.
I don't know, but that was House of Villains, y'all. I know I gave away Plain Jane being eliminated, but I'm tired of waiting 2 or 3 episodes when they can literally just eliminate one person. They wasn't in a house but 10 days. They can easily just eliminate somebody every episode and have 10 episodes and be done with the shit. But but hey, but that's it. Plain Jane. I will explain that again next time. I'll probably do the next live in a few days here, so that way I can get these gone. But yeah, that was pretty much it. Let me know what y'all think. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. Do you agree with my assessment of the Plain Jane and Johnny situation? Do you disagree? Mrs. Best opener. I don't know Johnny from a can of paint. I don't watch any of the shows he was on. I just know that from looking at him and based on how he moved on this show, it did look a little suspect on my side. But also, I don't fault him for that because Plain Jane was doing the most. I don't fault him for that because Plain Jane shouldn't have led with that. Like, you shouldn't have led with that at all. I would have had that response too if I was Johnny. Now that I'm thinking about it a little bit more, I probably would have still put your ass up anyway, just because you are way too desperate for this game and I need more of my alliance. I'm sorry. You are one extra person in the game that I need to be gone so I can get rid of Tiffany, Kate, Christine, and Drita.
Plain Jane need to take all that drag off and go model, because out under it, he's beautiful. Like, you know,
Really?
some people just
Yeah.
have the aesthetic to model, like that guy who was sitting in the Stockton jail with the pretty eyes.
Yes. I know what you're talking about.
Like,
Yes.
some people just, Plain Jane need to go model. Beautiful, striking features.
Yes.
With or without
Gorgeous.
makeup. Go do a model show or something. Just avoid talking about.
Absolutely. Well, that was it, you guys. We'll see what happens next. Next week's episode is, I'm telling you, I've already watched it. It's a great one. I will do a separate live for that one. But thank you guys. Let me know once again what you think. And I'll see you guys on my next live, guys. Bye-bye.